Hello there, this is the Student Theologian with another election prediction video for you guys. Last time, I posted a video talking about Thomas Massie's potential for the 2028 election. Can he win if he does decide to run? Does he even want to run? And who would be his opponent? And I had Thomas Massie winning that race against, I believe it was Kamala Harris. Yeah, it was Kamala Harris. However, the polls actually have Gavin Newsom leading the Democrat race for 2028. And it seems these early polls keep changing for their favorites. J.D. Vance is still the favorite for the GOP, from my understanding, but Thomas Massie would be a sleeper pick. In my GOP tier list, I did have Thomas Massie somewhere in the middle, because I don't think he's a complete long shot, but I don't think he's a complete nobody who has no chance of winning either. Again, we don't know if Thomas Massie wants to run, but I think that he would get the support of Elon Musk, because they both seem to be more economically libertarian than Donald Trump, so I think that Elon Musk would get behind someone like Thomas Massie in the hopes of forming a better partnership with him. However, Elon Musk did build a third party, but I don't think this third party is going to be as big as some people think it's going to be. But we'll see. There's been other attempts at forming third parties in the United States, and the Libertarians and the Green Party already have way more name recognition and way more history than Elon Musk's new party, so it's going to take time for that to grow and to get the name out there for his new American party. So with that being said, I'm not going to really factor in Elon Musk's party, because I think if Thomas Massie is the candidate, I think Elon Musk would support him anyways. But if he's not, I still don't think the Elon Musk party is going to be as influential as he thinks it is. So with that out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and start, as I always do with these type of videos, mark in all the states that I think are safe for the Democrats, which is easy because there's a lot less safe Democrat states than there are safe Republican states. So this is going to be, again, between Thomas Massie and Gavin Newsom. Newsom, who is leading in the polls right now for the Democrats for 2028, very early. This could change drastically depending on how these next couple of years go. I think Gavin Newsom still has to be considered one of the favorites in the Democrat tier list that I made, that you can look on my channel. I think I had Gavin Newsom right under Andy Beshear and Kamala Harris, so he's still in the top 3 or 4 candidates for the Democrats in 2028. But I think that Gavin Newsom has lost a lot of popularity over his handling of immigration in California, and especially with the riots and stuff. Any Republican who runs against him, whether that would be Thomas Massie or J.D. Vance, would have a field day with Gavin Newsom's track record of immigration, of having a bad immigration policy for his state of California, and as we've seen with the popularity of Trump, with him winning a landslide against Kamala Harris. I think the Americans, voters, take immigration as one of the most important issues. The top 2 issues being the economy and immigration, which Thomas Massie is going to be very good on. He's going to be very America first on these issues. I don't think Thomas Massie is going to go as far with the ICE and detention centers and stuff like that, but he's definitely going to enforce closed borders a lot better than someone like Gavin Newsom. So with that out of the way, let's mark the states that I think are safe for Gavin Newsom and the Democrat Party. The first being Washington, Oregon, California, his home state, Hawaii. Some of these states have been getting closer within recent years, especially with this last election, but I don't think that's going to hold true for this election. I still don't think it's going to be enough to make any of these states a battleground state. Then, of course, there's these New England states that are very solidly in the Democrats' hands as well. States like Maryland, Delaware, New Jersey, where my sister lives. Her state's going to go to the commies, unfortunately. New York, which is actually becoming a closer race over these last couple of years. But New York City, the Democrat primary elected a liberal socialist, so I definitely don't think they're ready for a right-wing leader like Thomas Massie. Vermont, New Hampshire, Minnesota, which is, again, just like these other states, have been getting closer. And Donald Trump did really well in this state last election. It's going to be curious to see if Minnesota continues down this path. They're going to be a battleground state in the next couple of decades. But it's not going to be in this election. Colorado, New Mexico, as Hispanic voters especially start becoming more conservative, right-wing, I think that we're going to see a lot more of them voting right. So I think these states could be closer. New Mexico could be closer than you would expect. Forgot to mark in D.C. Colorado is still going to be a landslide victory for the Democrats. Illinois, of course, we know Chicago being the main hub of that state and having most of the population is going to control that state's election destiny, which is going to go to the left, unfortunately. I think that's all the states I have that are safe for the Democrats in this race. Virginia, I'm going to go ahead and predict that it's a lot closer than people think, and I think we could start putting it into the battleground status soon. Maybe not this election, but definitely the election after that, if these trends continue anyways. How did Nebraska's? I think Nebraska and Maine, I always get these states wrong based on the fact that they're so complicated with their split electoral system. I don't think these 7 electoral votes are going to make a huge difference with the result that I'm going to have with this map. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Just give the Democrats 1 electoral vote in each. I do think, if I remember right, the state does usually go traditionally to conservative, so I don't think that would change. Nebraska too, I think, if I'm mistaken, and correct me below, but I think their state usually goes to the GOP. And now we're going to mark all the states that are safe for the Republicans. Okay, where should I go first? I'm going to go Alaska. It's the biggest state, so why not do them first? Texas is going to be safe. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if Texas and Florida go for Thomas Massie as strong as they have for Donald Trump, so these races could be closer. However, I think Thomas Massie is going to get along greatly with the America First contingent. I think he's going to get a lot of endorsements from people like Ron DeSantis and Greg Abbott to get him over the hump in these states. Not that they're ever in contention for the Democrats anyways, but yeah, I think both these states are going to be solidly in the right for this election. Oklahoma, Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Missouri, Kansas, and then you have these Northwest states that not a whole lot of people live in, but they always vote right. South Dakota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho. I bet most Europeans and people outside of America can't name half these states. That they don't think that they exist. Utah is always going to go to the right because they're very fundamentally Mormon, and the Mormons are conservative. I don't see the left ever contending for Utah for a while, for the foreseeable future. Now we're left with some battleground states. I think most of them, I think most of them are going to still be going right. I think they're going to, a lot of these races are going to be closer. I think I'm going to have the Democrats win a state or two that they didn't. But I don't think it's going to matter. I think Arizona and Nevada both go to the Republicans. Like I said earlier, Hispanic voters are going to the right. And I don't think any of these solutions that the Democrats have put out there so far after Trump's victory is going to be able to turn anyone's minds back to them. The Democrats' platform is still very woke, very anti-masculine. I think seemingly has not learned their lesson from the last election loss. Isn't it crazy that they think that Sydney Sweeney is a Nazi? It's just crazy to me. I mean, the left sees one white person in an ad and they immediately jump to racism. So Georgia is a battleground state for these last couple elections, but it's been trending in the right way. With voter ID coming in, I think it's going to be in the Republicans' hands. Iowa hasn't been really challenged by the Democrats since Obama. I don't think any of these Democrat candidates are strong enough to contend in either of these states. I think Thomas Massie takes North Carolina. Now these states are the states that are going to determine the election. At this point, the left really needs pretty much all these states to go their way. The only one I'm going to mark for the Democrats in this race is going to be either Michigan or Wisconsin. The Republicans Donald Trump won these states by their very thin margin last year. I don't think that the Republicans are going to enjoy the same success. It'd be hard for them to sweep the swing states 2 elections in a row. So I have to give the Democrats at least one of these states. To make things more interesting, I'm going to go with Wisconsin for the Democrats. And I'm going to make a crazy prediction right now. I think Virginia flips in this election. I think it's going to be a lot closer than what people think. And I think it is going to be another landslide victory for the Republicans who upset the Democrats in Virginia. Again, Donald Trump did very well in this state in the last election. It's been trending in the right way. And I think that it's time for me to start making some of these bold predictions to spice it up. Indiana, Ohio have been faithfully Republican over these last couple of elections. I don't see that changing. The Republicans have done really well in Pennsylvania last election. I think they're going to follow that up with another great performance there. And that leaves just one state ahead to left. I'm going to go ahead and give the Democrats Wisconsin. Again, it's going to be extremely difficult for the Republicans to sweep all the swing states 2 elections in a row. I do think that Thomas Massie does not have the type of charisma to carry him through like Donald Trump has, but he certainly has the ability to build upon that with these next couple of years. And I do think that Gavin Newsom is a bad candidate. But so are all these other Democrat candidates that I put up here. I don't have any Democrats beating the Republicans in this election. I don't have any of the top 4 or 5 candidates from the Democrats. I don't think any of them would be able to beat any of the top 4 Republicans in this race. I think that's where we're going as a society, is more right-wing. Again, because I explained this in many videos before. Society and culture has been swinging on this pendulum to the left, the neoliberals, for a while. I don't think we're going to go back there. I think the pendulum is swinging back to the other direction. And I think this is going to be a great opportunity for the right to carve out a new ideology that's based around the true aspects of America first. I think Thomas Massie would be a great candidate at building an American First agenda. I think he would do just that. I think he would be a great candidate. And again, Gavin Newsom is not a great candidate on issues like the economy and immigration. Thomas Massie is going to expose him, and he's going to win in a landslide, not really a landslide, in this race, but he's going to win pretty comfortably because of these hot button issues, while Gavin Newsom is going to try to outwoke Thomas Massie. Massie is going to focus on the real issues and emerge victorious in 2028. But tell me what you think below. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, this has been the Student Theologian.